that really changed the way I looked at the world, because what he was saying was, listen, if you're getting 6 things done, you're going to be light years ahead of everybody. A few years ago, a couple of my friends had recommended a book to me, and I didn't read it at the time because usually my friends recommend stupid books to me. So the book was Atomic Habits. This is by James Clear. He's a fellow Ohioan. He lives in Columbus. And I think this book is now selling 5, 6, 7 million copies, something crazy. First off, I highly recommend anybody who's watching this to go get the book. So here's the reason why I love it. I've always been big on goals. And 20-some years ago, I believed that my goals would eventually happen because I just believed in them so much. And to a certain element, that is true. However, the next most important part is, how do you build the steps to get there? So I realized that about 15, 17 years ago. So I started working backwards from my goals. I'd pick a goal, whatever it was. Let's say you have a goal of losing 10 pounds. Well, don't focus on losing 10 pounds. You got to work backwards. And how do you work backwards? Well, if I want to lose 10 pounds in 12 months, that is 0.8 pounds per month. Okay. James Clear in Atomic Habits, what I love is he breaks it down even further. And the point of Atomic Habits is atomic elements are so small. And the key is to just do small things consistently, and that will change your life. So if you want to lose 0.8 pounds a month, your goal should be 0.2 pounds a week. If you want to lose 0.2 pounds a week, how many calories is that? A calorie deficit, 3,500 calories is a pound, 700 calories total you need to lose. You need to have a deficit of 700 calories per week divided by 7 days is 100 calories per day. So if I told you that if you had a calorie deficit of 100 calories a day, it would lead to 10 pounds lost in a year. You might be like, wait, what? But we just worked backwards. So that is his big thing. Now, it goes even further than that. And this is what I loved. So I'm very big on doing daily tasks. One of our managers upstairs, Mary, her father was a very successful insurance salesman. And he always advised his employees, do 6 things a day. You need to pick 6 things per day that you get done. Not 5, not 4, not 7, not 8. You do 6 things. Now, that really changed the way I looked at the world, because what he was saying was, listen, if you're getting 6 things done, you're going to be light years ahead of everybody. And even further than that, though, what I started to do was I created a software on our phones for everybody in the office called Task Manager. What it did was allowed us to assign each other tasks, and I assigned myself daily tasks in my task management software, and it keeps track of how many I get done. The reason this worked so much was I love to read. Everybody hears me talk about reading, but I started to notice that over time, what happened was I would set a goal of reading 30 pages in a day. Well, then it would hit 4 o'clock and I'd be like, oh, I haven't started my reading yet. Is there really any reason to start? Why should I do it? Blah, blah, blah. So what ended up happening was I wouldn't read for 6 or 7 days and all of a sudden read 100 pages at a time. And so I felt like, oh, wow, I'm doing great. Yeah, but I'm only reading 14, 15 pages a day. So I changed my habit. What did my habit become? Read 1 page. That is your goal. Because I started to realize that the second I picked up the book, I was never reading 1 page. Never. But my hurdle of trying to read 30 pages became insurmountable, because if I got busy in the day, I never wanted to pick up a book, because I'm like, well, I'm not going to finish 30 pages, so why even do it? So instead of worrying about this huge goal, all I did was say, Paul, just pick up the book. And I'm going to tell you right now, I have done an amazing job reading more and more and more since I did that. When I decided to learn to take Spanish seriously, I first started with Spanish tutors, all these things. Then I decided, you know what? Just go on Duolingo, and your goal is just do Duolingo every single day. And I'm now on my 1,285th day in a row or something crazy like that. But I do Duolingo every single day. And sometimes I do 20 points and sometimes I do 300 points. But the point is, I do Duolingo every single day. So I've started to realize that in order for me to see outsized gains in my life, I need to break everything down into those atomic habits that James Clear talks about. Anything you want to do, if you're overwhelmed by investing, pick the one thing that overwhelms you and say, I'm going to read 1 article per day about this topic for the next 10 days. That's it. Just do that. Don't worry about reading 10 articles. If you want to read more, great. You know, Mary's father would say, just do your 6. But think about what happens in life. If you ever feel yourself saying, I'm busy, or you hear other people saying they're busy, here's what it is 95% of the time. They've postponed the same act over and over and over again. They have to drop off dry cleaning. They didn't do it today. They didn't do it tomorrow. They didn't do it. All of a sudden, 8 days later, whatever the number is, they haven't done their dry cleaning yet, but they're still looking at it as, I'm so busy. Just do your dry cleaning. That's it. Get it done. Pick those tasks. When you have a weekend, my fiance and I sometimes argue because I'm big into, let's just pick the 5 things we're going to do today. Get them done. Don't add things. Don't do anything, because I've noticed for us that when we just have a set list of things to get done, we get them done very quickly, as opposed to, well, what about these things? We'll worry about that tomorrow. What are the 5 or 6 most important things we need to do today? And on my list every single day, I have a list of 7 or 8 items I do every single, and I haven't paid attention to the 6. I think he was talking about it more for his salespeople, like, hey, what are the 6 sales things you need to do today, etc. But if you apply it to your life, my list got to be 15 or 16 items, and I said, this is way too much. And I just went, what are the 7, 8 items I need to do every single day? And they vary from day to day. Like during the weekdays, they're one thing, and on the weekends, they're other things. Because on the weekdays, the markets are open. There's things you have to do then that are not the same as the weekend. But if you break everything down, you will find yourself doing these habits over and over. Literally, my daily tasks do not get missed. I shouldn't say that. Spanish has never been missed in 1,285 days. When I do my chess, since April 15th of 2016, I've not done a chess study of some sort in a day one time. That's almost 7 years now. I've missed it one day. Now, you might sit there and say, really? But that's important to me, because to me, it shows I have the discipline to do those things. That's the important part about getting things done, setting a habit and setting a process. Don't overwhelm yourself with these crazy goals. Whenever we have a business partner or an employee who has these crazy goals, my next question is, wait a second, is that even attainable? Break it down. If you want to read 30 books in a year, if the average book is 300 pages, that's 9,000 pages. Great. Divided by 365, you need to read what, 25 pages a day? Okay, that's a lot. I would just recommend you say, my goal is just to pick up a book. Because to me, why do you have to the goal of 30 pages? Just start reading. That's still going to be more and more than you've ever done before if you haven't read before. If you want to learn a new language, your goal should be learn 1 new word a day. That's it. 1 new word. You know what you're going to end up finding? You might learn 3 or 4. Who knows? But the point is, if you learn 1 new word per day for 3 years, you've learned 1,000 words. That's pretty impressive. And it's not going to work that way. You're probably going to learn way more than 1,000 words, because we always get bogged down by the amount of work we need to do. So instead of worrying about this huge, I'd still believe in having a big goal. But the second you've set that goal, and you've heard me say it in past videos about our B to Y process, get started and focus on the next step. In sports, I always say, what's the most important play? The very next play. If you break it down in the most basic form on every single thing you want to accomplish and only worry about that, you will accomplish way more. So on this channel, we talk a lot about mindset and emotion, because that's super important for investing. So if you like this, please subscribe. Thank you very much for your time. There are 3 things that you absolutely need in order to be a successful investor: the proper mindset, the proper emotion, and the proper process. Which ones are the most important?